India has a mindset where it punches below its weight. We have to punch not above our weight. We have to punch not below our weight. We have to increase our weight and punch proportionally.
ये हमारा सिद्धांत है, हम घर में घुस के मारेंगे.
You know, victims of terrorism do not sit together with perpetrators of terrorism to discuss terrorism.
Namaskar, Jai Hind, Jai Bharat, and welcome to Dev Talks. This is Aadi. Honestly, I'm privileged, honored to have a Marshal Bedi with me. And sir से जो बात करी है हमने, we will talk about something really touchy today. ठीक है, जिसके बारे में a lot of conversations are happening. Air Chief spoke about it, HAL Chief is speaking about it, government बात कर रही है, public बात कर रही है. So we'll have a simple, open-hearted conversation. Let's not get into specifics कि भाई वो जहाज का engine power 10% extra है, 12% down है, उसका weight थोड़ा, we're not getting into that. आज हम बात करेंगे realism की. भाई this is the situation that we have. करना क्या है? Talk realistic and let's see where we get. Sirji, thank you so much for taking out the time. Always a pleasure, honor having you on the platform. And once again, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Aadi, and thank you everyone listening to this show or is going to listen. Always a privilege, Aadi, to share time with you. Sorry, I've been too busy in some project of mine and couldn't give so much time to you. But pleasure.
Would you like to tell us what's the project, sir, or is that a secret?
No. It's not a secret. I mean, I'm pleased to tell your audience that, I was writing a book. In fact, Center of Airport Studies had asked me if I would be able to, would like to write a book on hypersonics, that India in pursuit of hypersonic flight. The title was given by me. So I got interested in it, and we had done a show on your,
Yes,
channel also on hypersonics. So I was reading about it, and then I got interested. And just 30 seconds briefly, now that we are talking about it, when I started doing this project, I realized that any book you pick up on hypersonics from 4th, 5th page will break into very complex differential and integral equations. They were mostly written for engineers to design hypersonic weapon. I went to DRDL, where they're making missiles. And thank you. And what happened is, then I thought that there was a need to write book in a simple language. So like my forte, I enjoy doing it on your channel, that, convert complex kind of phenomena or complex concepts into simple language to understand. So anyone who gets to read this, and I have written as a brief narrative that, from absolutely rookie or the new entrant into this domain to the learned ones, both categories will like them. And if someone reads this book, this is my claim, that from not knowing anything about hypersonics, once you finish reading this book, you are probably empowered to take part in an intellectual debate on application of hypersonic weapons. So let's see.
The one question that everybody is asking, sir, will this be available to all of us and when?
Oh, yes, of course. It's available to everyone. In fact, it was released on 4th March by Chief of the Air Staff, and in Center of Airport Studies. And they're just starting the mass production. And in about a week's time, I will share the link on your channel, and everyone who would love to read it. It's in a very simple format, yet touching all the important aspects, because no one will publish a book just like that, you see.
Please send it to me, sir. I'll put it on the channel.
Yeah,
I'll put it on the channel, sir, and I'm sure a lot of audience would love to read.
So that took my time, and that is why. But now that book got released, and I'm a little relaxed. So here I am, with you and your audience.
Thank you, sir. Sir, simple question. Air Chief Saab was a little upset, to be, polite. And he expressed his frustration with regards to not the quality, and मेरे को ये थोड़ा specify करना है, not the quality of the aircraft. He expressed his frustration with regards to the quantity of the aircraft. And am I right in my observation right at the beginning, sir.
Yes, of course. In fact, he went on to say that even if you give me 80%, 80 to 85% quality wise of what is available in international market, I'm happy. But give me the numbers. He's on record saying that even if you give me 82 quality capability wise, we are new entrant, we started late, etc., etc. That whatever is available in international market, even if you were to give me about 80 to 85% of that capability, I'm okay with it. I will manage, but give me the numbers. So I think he made that very clear. So you're right in your observation that he was essentially talking of quantity and the rate of quantity, not the absolute quantity, but the rate of production. And we can count the years in a while. But yes, to begin with, I must acknowledge that yes, he was talking of quantity.
So, and I mean, the whole people call it blowout, this, that. I call it a very public statement. I think he did that on whatever purpose that he had. Ki boss, this now needs to go public so that there's public pressure. And I mean, which is evidently now there. We are talking about it. We've spoken about it multiple times on the channel. I've been waiting for you to come in so that we can talk about it. But where do you see the situation right now, sir?
Yeah, you see, okay, absolutely. No, let's analyze. Now, let's get one thing clear. I mean, he's the nth chief of Indian Air Force. Now, it is not that people before him were not knowledgeable or they did not realize that, okay? Or they could not see the situation and only he has come on the scene and he has realized the situation. It is not like that. Everything evolves, okay? And this is organization. Indian Air Force is an organization. So everyone who's in this organization represents its thought process, that what organization is feeling about it, especially the chief. So what has changed? I think the situation remaining somewhat the same. These talks were done. People were talking about it, concerns were being raised, and probably behind closed doors, probably in secret discussions, confidential rooms, and briefings. And now we have come to a stage where epically he's sitting in an aircraft, in Tejas aircraft, talking to HAL, bosses, oblivious of the fact who's listening to him, who's filming him, who's taking note of it. No pre-qualification. Hey, listen, this is between you and I. Don't talk about it elsewhere. Chatham rule applies. Blah blah blah. Nothing. I mean, he's matter of factly making a statement. Okay, listen, and his जो दिल से what he spoke कि ये मजा नहीं आ रहा. You remember? कुछ हो रहा है, सब कुछ हो रहा है, मतलब आप काम कर रहे हो, आप बोल रहे हो कि हम अपना बेस्ट दे रहे हैं, हम ये कर रहे हैं, हम वो कर रहे हैं, पर मजा नहीं आ रहा. एंड व्हेन ही टॉक्ड ऑफ नंबर्स, ही सेड कि भाई जब मैं यहाँ आने वाला था, आपने बोला था कि 11 और व्हाटएवर नंबर ही सेड मार्क 1 एज विल बी, भाई है नहीं, है ना, कहाँ है वो, ठीक है. See, what happens is our program, I mean, if I can quickly draw a parallel, where the problem is that if you see the timeline now, LCA, when did we conceived it? 2001. 2001 में हमने start किया कि भी LCA चाहिए, हमें light combat aircraft चाहिए, और 2015 was the first flight with 14 years. Okay. Now 14 years is a long time, but now if I draw a parallel, take the case of, let's say, latest F35. Okay. F35 also, if you say it started in 2006 and first flight was 2015, 9 years. So if you see the technology gap between United States, I mean Lockheed Martin and HAL, then I would grant that, if today's age, after all that, they can, take 9 years from first flight to induction, then 2000, not first flight, I mean from, thinking to production, then 2001 to 2015, somewhere we started is not very bad, but the story starts after that. From 2015 to 2025, there are 1,000 F-35s, but we have only 40 LCS.
Yeah.
That is where the problem is. Okay, कि ये rate of production जो है, why is it so slow? No, we are planning to induct almost 18 squadrons of LCA, 324 aircraft at the rate of 18 aircraft per squadron. Okay, and if you're still at 40, then it's a long way to go. And now what happens is, you started with the Tejas Mark 1, Then we said, okay, Mark 1, maybe दो वेरिएंट थे, IOC, FOC, initial operational clearance, फिर कुछ
Final
और अपडेट्स हुए, फिर फाइनल ऑपरेशनल क्लियरेंस, फिर हमने बोला ओके मार्क 1A से मार्क 1A पे जाएंगे, फिर मार्क 2 करेंगे. Government has already placed, kind of orders. We were supposed to have kind of, 40 these Mark 1s, 83 Mark 1A का तो order already है. I believe 97 more will be given, and 120 Mark 2s, have already been committed. And government has even released 15,000 crores of cabinet committee,
Yes,
has accorded approval for MCA. Okay, which is supposed to be coming up. Not so much of ahead. So what worries is, or what one thinks is, कि ये कैसे होगा यार, while we saying कि हम कर देंगे, हम ये कर रहे हैं, तो obviously chief का worry है कि how are you going to produce this, कि unless you show some improvement, or like somewhere down the line people say, or maybe जैसे आप spin off करते हैं statement को, some reports के he criticized HAL, he did this. He did not criticize anyone. What is he doing? He's just stating the facts. If you are the coach of a team, आप athletic team के coach हो, ठीक है, तो आपने हाथ में स्टॉप वॉच पकड़ी हुई है, आपको पता है ओलंपिक्स आने वाली हैं, कभी भी अनाउंस हो सकती हैं, और आपके एथलीट को ओलंपिक्स में क्वालिफाई करना है, और उसके लिए ये टाइमिंग चाहिए. अब वो भाग रहा है, आपको प्रॉमिस करता है कि सर इस डेट में मैं इतना टाइम कर लूंगा, इस डेट में इतना टाइम कर लूंगा, और अब आप उसको भगाते हो, एंड यू हैव द स्टॉप वॉच, यूर टाइमिंग इट, यू से यूर वे ऑफ यार. तो व्हाट आर यू टेलिंग हिम? यू आर नॉट क्रिटिसाइजिंग हिम, यू आर टेलिंग हिम मैटर ऑफ फैक्टली कि यार लिसन, यूर वे ऑफ द टारगेट. आपको ये तो रेस इतने सेकंड्स में पूरी करनी थी, अब तक तो आपका टाइमिंग ये हो जाना चाहिए था, और अभी आपका टाइमिंग ये है, और आप फिर भी मेरे को बोल रहे हो कि नहीं नहीं सर मैं ओलंपिक के लिए क्वालिफाई कर जाऊंगा, आप उसकी फिक्र मत करो. तो कैसे? I mean, कुछ तो प्रूफ दोगे ना आप. अपनी डाइट ठीक करो, अपना वर्किंग शेड्यूल को कुछ बढ़ाओ, कुछ अलग से कोई ट्रेनिंग करो, कुछ जो भी करो, whatever you do, but do something so that you start qualifying on those milestones, that okay, everyone gets confidence कि हाँ ठीक है. बिकॉज इसमें प्रॉब्लम पता क्या होती है आदि, गवर्नमेंट इन ऑल अर्नेस्ट, आई मीन माई रीडिंग इज कि इतना पैसा 15,000 करोड़ इज नॉट ए लेस मनी. लेट्स से आप एक प्रोग्राम के लिए एलोकेट कर देते हैं, वो प्रोग्राम के लिए एलोकेट हो गया ना, फिर उतने पैसे तो गवर्नमेंट बचा के रखेगी प्रॉपर्ली. अब उससे कुछ और नहीं खरीदा जा रहा, और अब जिसके लिए पैसे रखे हैं, अगर अब वो भी नहीं बनाओगे और कुछ और भी नहीं खरीदोगे, तो व्हाट हैपेंस देन? आई मीन दैट मनी व्हिच वाज सपोज्ड टू ब्रिंग अप योर डिफेंस कैपेबिलिटी इज रिपीटेडली बीइंग लॉस्ट आउट. And now it's not कि उसको वो जमा करते जाएंगे, then obviously the demands on government are manifold. There are other sectors where the demand is high, then probably it will get used there and you're back to square one. और फिर हम बीच में बोलेंगे कि पैसे नहीं है, and on the other hand you see पैसे वापस हो रहे हैं कि हम उसको यूज ही नहीं कर पा रहे. तो टारगेट वैसे सेट करो या ठीक तरह से बताओ कि भाई यही हो सकता है, so that जो अपनी कैपेबिलिटी है, अगर हमको इंडक्शन करनी है या कुछ करना है, तो फिर उसके हिसाब से ठीक डिसीजन तो लिए जा सके ना. So now the problem is that the production of LCA definitely has not been the way it should have been. Now it improves tomorrow. They are saying, I mean, he's saying that, you need to speed it up. Okay.
Yeah.
40 aircraft in 10 years is 4 aircraft per year. You at least need about 40 aircrafts per year. Even if you have to reach in the next 7-8 years to the desired figure, then you need that kind of production. और अब जब हम उसमें आ गए, Mark 1A में आ गए, Mark 2 पे आ गए, तो obviously this will need to be beefed up here. There is no doubt about it. I mean, I think he just said something which is obvious to everyone, but we were not saying it so openly.
Sir, another thing that he said, I mean, I'm honestly pretty grateful. I'm sure it is a team effort. जितने सारे चीफ्स अभी निकल के गए होंगे, एक एक का फीडबैक एड अप होता है, एंड प्रॉब्ली इट केम टू दिस चीफ टेबल कि यार अब बोलना है. और वो कैसे हुआ, क्या हुआ, गवर्नमेंट ने पीछे बैकिंग दी, क्या दिया, बिकॉज ही सेड इट मल्टीपल टाइम्स, सो इट ऑब्वियसली सीम्स लाइक एन इकोसिस्टम और अ कन्वर्सेशन इज ट्राइंग टू एक नैरेटिव क्रिएट करने की कोशिश की जा रही है, which is good, and I support that, and that's one of the reasons why I've kind of kept up with this conversation quite a bit as well. Sir, but एक चीज जो चीफ साहब ने अभी recently बोली है, and that was something which was very encouraging to me, and he came out and said it extremely clearly. He said, यार listen, मेरे को बाहर से जहाज मत दो, मेरे को तुम 30-40 यही वाले जहाज दे दो, मैं I'll be happy, I will keep the country safe, everything is fine, don't worry about it. Let's develop the next. Give me what you guys can produce. If you're saying 30-40, give me 30-40 a year. There won't be any problems. How do you see this situation? So is that 30-40 number today capable enough? वो जो भरना शरना है हमको जो gaps हैं or whatever is there, as an operator, sir, how do you see it?
No. You see, then as an operator, I mean, given a choice, anyone would ask for the moon, correct? कि हमें सब कुछ ही
Of course.
चाहिए, okay?
जी.
सब कुछ ही चाहिए, okay? But उसके साथ reality है. और now we can't forget about what we already have. Understood. I mean, we have today, we still have pledged to defend the skies of India. I mean, it's not that the Air Force does not have an obligation to do that now. Okay. Now, what happens is, just coming to your initial thing, while ecosystem must be there, and I am, very happy to note that the government has kind of supported it and not ticked him off. But I don't think that he said it because government asked him to do it. In my opinion, he's a brave man. He definitely did stick his neck out.
Hats off.
He did stick his neck out, not as a chief, from vice chief. Mind you, what you need to grant is, first time when he made that statement, he was not chief.
Yeah.
He was vice chief, not yet declared a chief. See the whole drama. Not drama, I mean the dramatics of it.
Yeah,
He is vice chief, in line, senior most air marshal in the Air Force, in line for chief, not yet declared chief. And he goes as a vice chief and makes a statement that we are not happy with the LC production. Okay. What was at stake here? A lot was at stake. I mean, if he did not take...
He's becoming a chief was at stake, sir.
He is becoming chief was at stake if someone was
that
to take that. So he did not bother about it. Correct?
Yeah.
So, and the very fact he became chief, I mean, it was a kind of understanding. I'm sure no government or anyone would go and tell someone ke ye aise jaake bol do. Aise nahi hota hai.
But so it's a testament on the man himself,
on the man himself,
and the defense ecosystem in the country, which is allowing him to bowl. Yeah, there's nothing
absolutely
wrong with
that is a byproduct. That is a byproduct, and we have come a long way. That is a byproduct of that, his boldness, that it paid off, because I think it was genuine. It was from his heart, and his statements were supported by facts. I mean, he was not making a political statement, or he was not making a statement for the heck of it or for the dramatics of it. He was just stating the fact, and he couldn't care less. He said, my heart is with the Air Force, and if as a vice chief also I can't state the facts, then when am I going to do this? It must have been his feeling, not that he discussed it with me. I'm just saying, I mean, I'm gauging him, So what happens is, then he became chief and he stuck to that line. Not that. Also, again, great providence. I mean, great, not providence, great kind of, shabash to the system or to the government, that it's not that they told him, okay, now that you have become chief, now, control yourself or do something. I mean, he just maintained that line in a steady format. Okay, that this is it, that we will speak the truth and bring out the facts. Okay.
After the so-called leak video, after the so-called leak video, he gave a press conference again where he said the same thing.
Again. Yeah, same thing.
So, yeah.
And the fact is that he was convinced about it. This is conviction. This is what conviction is all about. And, and people, I mean, the great men are everywhere here. People go and give examples of Field Marshal Manik Shah till date, that how he, told the then Prime Minister that this is not the right time to go for war, and let me wait, for my troops to be ready, and, fields of Punjab are filled with water, blah, blah, blah. And I will tell you when the right time is. You remember? Okay. So this is,
leadership.
Again, pure leadership and conviction of something, and supported by facts, not by feeling.
Yeah.
Right. So if your statement is supported by facts, then I suppose everyone listen to it. Okay?
Absolutely.
And so I think this is purely what has happened. And at the same time, when he says that, okay, listen, this is not enough, etc., he does not go back and saying, okay, listen, I can't defend this. He's not saying, okay, bhai, I will continue as a chief only if you give me 40 aircraft or give me this. Otherwise, ye le lo apni Air Force, main nahi kar sakta. Aise nahi hai na. He still has the responsibility, mind you. Okay, and he still has to defend the skies with everything, by application, by doing. But he's saying, and I feel, Aadi, it's not only our generation. I mean, he's kind of contemporary. Let's call it. Within 5 years, we call people contemporary. my worry is, and when we come to Adam Nirbharta or something, when we talk about it, and various other places I have told, कि यार this push is important. You know why this push is important? It is like this, you know, जैसे गवर्नमेंट की पुश है कि अगर मेरे को आपको खाना बनाना सिखाना है, तो मैं बोलूं कि यार आप खाना खाओगे नहीं जब तक खुद नहीं बनाते, you know, बैठे रहो भूखे. Now I am watching you. ऐसा नहीं कि आपको मरने दूंगा, आप भूख से मर जाओगे या मर रहे हो या कोई मेडिकल इमरजेंसी आ गई है जहां पे आपको खाना चाहिए, तो यस मंगवा के खिला देंगे आपको भी, ऐसा नहीं है कि मरने देंगे. बट टू टेल यू कि यार इट्स नॉट गोइंग टू वर्क आउट लाइक दैट. आई एम नॉट गोइंग टू लेट यू रिलैक्स कि आपको हर बार मांगने से मिल जाता है, एंड यू आर नॉट इवन मेकिंग एफर्ट टू लर्न हाउ टू कुक. यार at least make an effort, and for which sacrifice, okay, stay hungry for some time and learn to cook. You will learn to cook. You know, my worry is not of today we are okay. Let's say 50 years hence, here, what are we leaving for our children? Now I am able to fight. I say I am able to fight China, I am able to fight Pakistan, I am able to fight this. Now after 30 years, will our children be able to fight their children? Is what you have to be worried about. You know, the way technology gap is increasing, if you don't wake up today and you don't start making your own stuff and you don't go hand in hand, then what kind of gap are you going to create for you know, of your children with their children? So I think it's important that we wake up to this aspect and start making things. Technology हमें पता है यार, हमें पता है हम 4th जनरेशन एयरक्राफ्ट हमारे पास सारे हैं, अब एक 4.5 जनरेशन आ गया है, हम 5th जनरेशन पे जा रहे हैं, किसी ने 6th जनरेशन बना दिया है, एटसेट्रा एटसेट्रा. 4th जनरेशन क्या है, 4.5 क्या है, 5 क्या है, 6 क्या होना चाहिए, ये सब कुछ तो हमें पता है, करेक्ट? सो फिर लेट्स डू समथिंग नाउ that we start doing it, and everywhere you have to make a beginning. You know, start doing something. Like he said, 80% capability मेरे को दे दो यार. आप वो 200 किलोमीटर की मिसाइल नहीं बना सकते, 150 किलोमीटर की दे दो, I will do something. अब ये नहीं कि आप बैठे रहो कि जब तक आप 200 की भी नहीं बना सकोगे मैं नहीं दूंगा. एयरक्राफ्ट है, ओके, आप 5th जनरेशन नहीं बना सकते स्ट्रेट अवे, तो 4th बना सकते हो, 4.5 बना सकते हो, उतने बना के दे दो. 80% कैपेबिलिटी दे दो, या 5th जनरेशन करके दे दो, उसकी 80% कैपेबिलिटी दे दो तो सही, बट इट शुड बी योर्स so that we can improve
absolutely.
on that.
And might I add one thing, if you don't mind, sir, and please correct me if I'm wrong. Guys, at no point of time anybody saying the Air Force is weak, huh? Let me say that one thing very clearly, because the Air Force has one big advantage as far as the fighting force is concerned, and that is what? One simple thing, which is called mobility. Okay? Not all fronts are active all the time. So you can move your aircraft here and there and you can fight. ऐसा कोई problem नहीं है कि भैया हम लोग we are in a terrible situation. So and people think, oh, पाकिस्तान को पता चल गया हमारे पास जहाज नहीं है. Oh यार, ये चीजें तो सबको पता होती हैं, but they don't know how we fight. There's a difference, right? So please be assured, sir.
नहीं बिल्कुल ठीक है. हम तो मैंने एक YouTube चैनल पे बैठे डिस्कस कर रहे हैं. You see, there is much more than this normal conversation of us, what it takes to defend the nation, you know, and I've been privy to it for quite some time. It is not at all. यार ये एक simple, what is the litmus test? आप strong हो तो आप safe बैठे हो यार, नहीं तो वैसे ही खा जाते लोग आप. I mean, क्या हो रहा है? क्या what happened to Afghanistan? What happened to Iraq? What happened to Libya? You know, what is happening to elsewhere? The moment you are not strong, people will just gobble you. Yeah. Okay. The very fact के भी आप, I mean, and I maintain my theory that even during Galwan or wherever, etc., I mean, China moved its ground troops, China did something, but there is no air action. Yeah. Probably they were clear that yeah, you can't take panga in the air at least. Because otherwise, you know, it could have, they could have escalated the damage. They could have, I mean, we all know that air power can do things much faster. So if they wanted to achieve something, why didn't they get their air element involved? Because probably they didn't want to touch that front. So it is not that we are weak at all. Like I am telling you today, my opening sentence was that today we are very strong, yeah. But are we seriously thinking about the future? I mean, we are worried about 20, 30 years, and hopefully we will be strong enough because we are talking about it. That is a very simple thing. If we were quietly, आंखें बंद करके बैठ जाएं, जैसे कि वो कहावत है ना, कबूतर के आंखें बंद कर ले के बिल्ली निकल जाएगी, शायद वो वैसे नहीं. हम तो खुली आंखों से देख रहे हैं कि यार ये यहाँ पे ये करना है, वहाँ करना है. और इंटर एजेंसीज उनका तो काम है. I mean, they will know everything. Sometimes they might know better, you know, than most of us know about Indian Air Force, and vice versa, you know. So that's not an issue.
Sir, now karna kya hai, sir? We are in this situation. The HAL is saying by 24, 25, 26 aircraft they are saying. Some of them, when we saw the recent interview by the CMD, he said 31 aircraft. 31, 32 aircraft, he said. Now, considering a number of 30, sir, karna kya hai, sir? What would you kind of say if somebody asks you the question, ki, sir, what would you say, bhai, karna kya hai? Do we buy
इसमें
or do
नहीं
we
नहीं we
kind of
if
push forward here?
no, if required, we will buy. Like I said, no, it's not that we will allow, I am sure every time you are, watching the status, the everything. Now, another thing, I think everyone logged on to this chief's statement. Another important occurrence, which is also in open domain, is probably not being talked about much, like that empowerment committee. They've handed their report, I think, yesterday or day before.
Day before yesterday,
Okay.
sir.
Day before yesterday, the empowerment committee led by defense secretary, उसमें chairman DRDO है, उसमें हमारे DCS थे, and other people are there who, and what was the empowerment committee mandated to do? To look at
Private
the gaps in the Indian Air Force के कैसे इसको बढ़ाना है. Okay. And what led to that? The commanders conference in December. So in commanders conference in December, where defense minister was there, the way it was projected to the defense minister, probably some reality was projected very harshly. Otherwise, chiefs are talking to the ministers on day-to-day basis. Yeah, I mean, it is not that he would have come to know of something only in commanders conference, right? But point is that it started from there. It got projected. Okay, we need to do something. Okay, let's identify gaps. That is the first step. And then do something about it. The report is confidential as of now. Slowly it will come out in public domain, I guess. But the fact is that quickly a committee was made. The people did their job and they identified areas. And moment those have been identified, they will work on that. As far as his numbers are concerned, 30 aate hain aircraft, 34 aate hain, 24 aate hain, etc. It is a good thing. When they start coming, we are then adding 1.5 squadron, let's say, per year. Some of them, the older ones will start getting out. What is the problem, Adi? Because of this LCA production, what was the LCA supposed to replace? If you remember, it's supposed to replace one Mirage 2000 or MiG-21, correct? So had these aircraft come in time, probably we would have phased out MiG-21s much earlier. We still have one squadron of MiG-21, Bison, I mean, so to say. Okay, so what it results into it that you're phasing out of the squadrons gets a little delayed because the new aircraft are not coming in time. If the new aircraft are to come in time, then probably you can keep pushing out the other aircraft. I mean, Jaguars we are the only air force in the world, I think, who is flying Jaguars here.
Yeah. Even the Brits are now not flying in them anymore.
Nobody. I'm saying that we are the only air force. I mean, Oman used to fly, etc. And now we are hunting these places for spares of Jaguars. And, with modifications, etc., we say we will fly them till, 35. I mean, upgrades will happen, things like that. But if these modern aircrafts were to come up quickly, let's say we were now at, Mark II stage, or, MCA was just on the horizon, like they said, 25 prototype would fly, which it clearly not flying. Okay. And by 35, the production will start. Then clearly we can, very, what do you call, lean and mean force. You have top of the line aircraft, you have, capable aircraft, you have safe aircraft, and mission worthy, I mean, multi-role aircraft, and your potential goes way high. Karna kya hai? We have to increase the production and keep our options open. Now, it's not that tomorrow if someone asks you that, okay, buy 100 aircraft, then at least that homework, and I'm sure it has been done at air quarter, at least that options should be very crystal clear, that when we have to do something, then we quickly go and do something. Or bahar bhi, a little bit advanced planning would be required. Means ऐसा कोई ये कोई, it's not a very small thing कि किसी ने ऐसे ही बना के रखे हुए हैं.
It's not a cake in the pastry basket.
It's not a cake in the pastry basket, right? So mean you will have to cater for that little lead in time. Okay, when we do that. So all those calculations we have to do and keep our options open. That where do we go? What do we do? I mean, and it's not only technology. Then your geopolitics comes in between. Which way do you go? Yeah. So all these calculations have to be kept ready. I mean, this is what we have to do.
So today the Russians are in a war, sir. And of course, it's shutting down, but fair enough. They've got some tensions in Europe also. वो तो बेवकूफी वहाँ पर चलती रहेगी. Their productivity could become a bit better by the year end. अभी by the way, I don't know if the audience knows, and I don't know if you're aware, sir, but they've now proposed S400s to be made in India itself. तुम यार ये पकड़ो, अपने आप करो भैया, हम नहीं कर सकते. जो करना है करो इसके साथ. They are literally wanting to transfer the technology to us, because we are asking for spares and this and that, and there's some delay, so they are now giving it to us and saying, yeah, please take it. So that is pretty interesting. I'm pretty happy about that. So they have a bit of a challenge as far as productivity, because I'm sure he would want to beef up his own production internally. So वहाँ पर एक opportunity है to collaborate and kind of do what you can do. Rafale till now was quiet. आज एक news आई है कि they are ready to do some part of the assembly and some part of the manufacturing in India as well. They are kind of talking to some people. Option else is the F35, which of course everybody cringes when everybody says that because of the geopolitical factor, as you mentioned, sir. I mean, it's very difficult to say karna kya hai, which one to go and what to do and this and that, in case you need to buy outside. But don't you think it will be wise to skip a generation? We are already working on the CATS Warrior technology, which is basically a 6th generation part. It's not a 5th generation part. It's a 6th generation part that everybody around the world kind of agrees to. Take up the ARMCA to about 5.5 so that the timelines kind of match the rest of the world after that. Skip a generation in terms of technology development. Buy a 5th generation right now. Fix your needs for the Air Force. Obviously, it'll take 4-5 years, but you need to figure out private players in production for the Tejas. Small chart out plans, sir. What do you think? Critiques?
Yeah. See, what happens is you're right that okay, we need to skip a generation, and Air Force does that. If you think of communication, let's say, we in the Air Force, we had 3G. We were our FNet, etc., or FCells or something. We were working on 3G. Not that we went through 4G. If 5G came in, we jumped to 5G. Okay,
Yeah.
not just a parallel. It's not always a linear. See, you take a linear path if your capability development has to be linear. Correct, but it is not necessarily that you have to stick to that linear path if you are able to jump, leapfrog. What we say, you can leapfrog technology, okay, and come to that. Now, इसमें भी ये जो generational changes हैं, if you talk of CATS system, you need the associated paraphernalia also, na? I mean, you need those unmanned teamers also. Okay, that who can fly along with you. You can't carry just a drone flying at 180 kilometers and patch it up with the LCA. That is why they are making F-16. That dummy. Yeah. I mean, for that role, which can match up with your potential. So it's I believe MCA, as per the design, MCA 1, two variations है उसके. Okay, MCA 1 and MCA 1A जो है, it will be touching 6th generation technology to an extent. Better aspects. और ये भी जैसे a generation not necessarily introduces a new technology in something. It betters the earlier technology. So you say that okay, this is better. Now, what is the key feature of 5th generation? Stealth. When you say this is
stealth and super maneuverability.
Super maneuverability, but predominantly. Otherwise, देखो यार, radar, long range missiles, ये वो etc. FADEC, fly by wire, etc. radar, ये मतलब ये हैं, सारे 4th generation के ये हैं. Then 4.5 when we get little shaping, etc. So that frontal aspect is stealth. Okay. 5th generation का main thing is कि भी F-22 से start किया होना, ठीक है भी stealth aircraft. But remember we've done an episode on stealth in your channel. Stealth did not come with 5th generation. F-117, 83. That was the first stealth aircraft. B-2, the Spirit, 89. So stealth technology came then. It not that stealth was brought in with 5th generation. But what is the difference? Both those aircraft were subsonic. Because they said you could not maintain stealth with supersonic because you required afterburner in those days to go that. And he said you cannot probably maintain stealth technology. But now what does F-22? They have super cruise capability. I mean, with dry power they can go supersonic. So you maintain stealth, but you bettered it. Similarly, sixth generation, when comes the stealth aspects, then probably the degree of being stealth will be much more, and your IRST, which is a new feature, Mark II. I mean, Mark II will have it probably. Okay, infrared search and track. Okay, if you want me, I can explain a little bit on this. That how is it different from normal radar? Okay, does the job of a radar, but with much better advantage. Okay, all these technology will start coming in a better shape. So we can definitely leapfrog. As far as collaboration that you talk, there is no other way. Yeah. See, what happens is these private industries will have to come in. And now, when we talk of ke ye le ya wo le, with us always question of inventory comes in. People will say, let's say if the guys, who are with the fighter aircraft mein aa jaao. Okay, what fighter aircraft are we flying? Predominantly, we are flying, French and Russian. Predominantly, right? Okay, अगर जैगवर्स को आप निकाल दें और एक LCA है हमारा, okay, सो वहीं से यार क्या खरीदें, ये खरीदें या वो खरीदें. अब तीसरा आप अमेरिकन फाइटर इंट्रोड्यूस कर दो. आई मीन अमेरिकन एयरक्राफ्ट है हमारे पास, C-17 है, चिनूक्स है, आई मीन अपाचेस हैं, बट लेट्स टॉक ऑफ फाइटर एयरक्राफ्ट. वी येट डोंट हैव एन अमेरिकन फाइटर एयरक्राफ्ट. ओके, सो वी से कि यार उसको मत लाओ. But now that means what is governing your induction? Your induction is being governed by your logistics consideration, not the capability consideration, right? But let's say when we talk of these countries themselves, we talk of America, we talk of, they're not flying one type of aircraft. No. America, I mean, flying different types of aircraft here, starting from, F-14, 15, 16, 18.
They were flying British aircraft as well. They were flying British aircraft as well. Yeah.
But in their own, Russia is flying a whole lot of aircraft. But the classic difference is that all their aircrafts are being manufactured in their country here.
Yeah.
Here also, I would like to have a variety. If tomorrow there is one consortium, making, LCA, one consortium is making MCA, one consortium is making Mark II. Let our own people make 8 types of aircraft. We are happy to fly 8 types of aircraft because we know we have diversity. We are not putting all eggs in one basket, and I have the supply chain under my control.
Within the country.
Within the country. So there is no problem. So it's not just the more number of aircraft. It is that supply chain issues, that how you are going to manage that. So if that consideration becomes more, and we say that between F35 and Su57, what should you buy? Okay, price is one aspect. F35 $100 to $135 million, depending on ABC version, which one are you buying? Okay, Su57 we call approximately $50 million. Okay, so now greater numbers is important. You talk, I mean, I'm sure the professionals will do their job well. But you see, you have to see that which one are you going to buy is a tough decision. But what if all these qualities or all these aircraft are being made in India, by these big houses? And that will happen only, Adi, once you start making an aircraft which can be exported. Because after all, today we are talking of Indian Air Force short of aircraft. Very quickly they'll fill up these shortages. And now what? I mean, you can't keep sending off the aircraft into sea, no, just because you want to buy new. See, today also, if America was to support only America, will the aircraft industry grow? I mean, let's say no one else bought. I mean, how many aircraft will America need? There is a limit to it. Today, I mean, we are saying instead of 30 squadron, we should have 42 squadron. We are talking of a gap of 12 squadrons, right? 12 into 18 और 20 भी कर लो, 240 एयरक्राफ्ट की बात कर रहे हो आप यार. तो अब 3 इंडस्ट्री लगा दो आपको और 200 एयरक्राफ्ट के बाद बोलो बस, तो फिर क्या? So you will have to have export potential. That means you make an aircraft to that quality. LCA, like they're already talking to some countries, they go and do exercises, etc. But what happens is now export control will depend on what? On 2 aspects. One, quality. It should be matchable, and production rate. Now, if you're not able to meet your own production rate, how are you going to export? And jahan tak Rafale ka sawal hai, to offer that we will make it in India, I mean, I am very happy to know that if they offer that, they will, start producing Rafale here. But let's all be mindful that the complete MRFA deal of 114 aircraft fell through because Rafale refused to make it in HAL.
And they said they would have saved their economy.
the economy, and what was their concern? We will also come a long way. I mean, your inner circles will tell you probably they were not very confident that it can be produced to the same. We had yet not produced LCA, na. You see, we are talking of 2008, 2010. LCA had yet not come in. The work culture was very different. They
अभी तो फिर
Britishers
भी
had
काफी कुछ हो गया है.
the Britishers had a different experience with Hawks. Okay,
Yeah,
that
yeah.
they said ke bhi nahi, it's the same things are not being done. So the way aircraft is supposed to be, made, it's so HL has also come a long way because new generation has come. People are, new engineers are joining. It's a generational change happening in man force also. It's not only aircraft. Even engineers are changing in generation. Gen 2, Gen 3, we are talking of Gen Z generation. People are coming, so they have their probably that vision or that quality control is in place. So probably now they are convinced that they can make it in India, and it's good.
So let's get into some questions, sir. There are loads and loads of questions. So जरा घुसते हैं उसके अंदर. काफी सारे questions हैं. So request you if you can just keep them short so that we can take as many. क्योंकि I'm sure people have been waiting for you to come and ask you so many questions. So people are asking a lot of questions.
Yeah.
And guys, we appreciate the enthusiasm, and trust me, it's I'm nobody to speak for the Air Force or anybody, but it's good that we are talking about it, and that's something which is there. But my only point is, we need to keep the conversation real. ठीक है, we need to keep the conversation achievable, क्योंकि a lot of the conversation is outlandish, if I may say it very politely. I'm not pointing at anybody, but मैं देखता रहता हूँ, and I've said this before also, conversations need to be real. ठीक है, आउटलैंडिश बातें नहीं करते, बिकॉज जो कभी वो नहीं यार F35 का पापा जी ले आते हैं हम लोग, कहाँ से लेके आओगे वो नहीं पता बस. ओ so we need to kind of figure that out. All right, so guys, please like the video, subscribe, and of course share this with your friends and families, and of course share this with the aviation enthusiasts as well. उनको बोलो भाई लॉजिकल कॉन्वर्सेशन है, सुन लो एक बारी. And of course, please, if you can contribute towards this channel, use the QR code या फिर PayPal या फिर super sticker, super chats. And let's get into questions. All right, first let me just acknowledge the members. We have Natarajan ji, thank you so much for becoming a member. Arijit Gogoi ji, thank you so much for becoming a member. Agatya, who says, sir, the opinion on recent developments on Kaveri. Good results in testing, sir?
Yeah. No. You see, Kaveri is coming up. We are short by a few kilonewtons of thrust, I guess. Okay,
Yeah.
And its dry version is already being tested in. Probably one of our UAVs will house that.
Ghatak.
And this is and now the thing is the a Kaveri engine also we have done a complete episode on engine also with you, and if my information is not too old, I saw it there in Bangalore in GTRE myself. Okay, now isme kya hai, again there is a little difference here which has taken time. In our case, take the case of Rolls-Royce. Their design agency and production agency are the same. Here our design agency and the production agencies are two different issues. Okay. Now what happens is the problem, there is a research happening at one place. Okay. And there is a gas turbine research establishment. Okay. And then somebody producing it. Now and we don't have test facilities in-house. We yet don't have an airborne platform which can take this engine up and test it. I mean, we had some old, Boeing being discarded. Probably we should have converted it into.
हो रहा है सर, अभी 319 की कोई न्यूज़ आई थी, but
नहीं वो they are, I think some aircraft are being used for different purpose. Okay, but the fact is, हो जाएगा तो करना ही पड़ेगा यार. If you want to produce engine, you can't every time rush to Russia. So let's say you make an increment of 1 kilonewton, then it has to be tested. No. So you take it somewhere, you test it, you come back, do it again. I mean, it is something that you make something here, take it somewhere else, get it authenticated, come back here. So that is long. And of course, technology, I'm not denying that we don't have technology. That's not the only thing. metallurgy, all those issues. But I think we are inching closer. Now, certain things are even, let's say we are trying to get this know-how, this technology, this metallurgy, then probably for some reason it may be kept confidential for all I know, so that it goes through smoothly. There are no hiccups, there nobody puts a spoke, etc., etc. Anything is possible, though this is talking loosely. But ultimately, Kaveri engine has to come. Kaveri, and then whatever Kaveri 2 and other names that we may give them. If we are going to make our own aircraft to that level, then I think it is a matter of necessity, not really a choice or luxury.
Sir. Gatsyaji, thank you so much. Unable to understand why HAL has arrogance while FO's official said that ALS has design problems. HAL denied today that the problem is with design. It's not the design, it's the production which is the problem. Yeah, again, that's the same problem. वही जो उसका ALH का वो जो चक्कर चल रहा है.
Yeah. So, what happens is ALH was produced, at least it got, produced well. I mean, Rudra,
Numbers.
they call it. Okay. The
400.
numbers was the issue. Initially, there were, certain issues. I mean, a few incidents did take place when Army inducted it. Okay. And thereafter, they were sorted out. And I don't think it's arrogance. I mean, one can use a word, but I don't think anyone can afford to be arrogant about it. I mean, it's an aviation machine. There can be a difference of opinion that, okay, if there is a design issue and someone can prove it that this is a design issue, then how can one be arrogant about it?
Correct.
It's probably you don't understand something, and someone says that no, this is okay, this will go through, and our home production hai. So I can't really comment on that HAL is being arrogant about it.
Sir. Harshji, thank you so much. Congrats, sir. Will this book be available on Rotten Kobo store along with Kindle?
I will just let you know, my publisher, this book has been released, and they said that we will provide you with all the places, where all it will be available on Amazon. I think they're making two versions. One is that hard back, what they call for reference libraries, because this is a large amount of reference material is available in this, and of course for casual reading. So they will bring out two versions, I think, for people. Obviously, one will be a little costlier because it is to be retained in libraries. A lot of people use it, and one could be for personal copies, a little more economical version, paperback or something. So all these retails will come out within a week, and I am happy to
let me know, sir. I'll put it on the channel.
Yeah, of course I will do that. Thank you.
Sir. Parthaji, thank you so much. What role did the F-35 play for Israel that they are praising it? Similar to the manned monitor role to the catch warrior. More cost effective without VTOL. Israelis will praise F-35. यार उनको चाहिए spares, नहीं तो बंद कर देंगे.
See, I think the role it played is any role that an aircraft, multi-role aircraft would play in a, conflict. But that game itself was different. Now, they are going and Israel is not only involved with Hamas, I suppose. They are keeping much more at bay. I mean, they're still involved in Syria. Some attacks they do here and there. Okay, if they had to do something, in Iran, I mean, they had to do it. They had to use this kind of machines. Okay, and VTOL. What is the thing on VTOL? I didn't get that.
Is it more efficient with or without the VTOL, sir?
Oh no! They made three versions. One is it has got ABC 3 version. A is purely conventional, and your B is not VTOL. It's SVTOL, short STOVL, short takeoff and vertical landing. Okay, and then there is a third carrier version. Okay, which is with a catapult assisted takeoff, but arrested landing. The CATO bar, they call it, full form. Catapult assisted takeoff, but arrested landing or something. CATO bar is the full form. Okay, so these are they all have their different roles in that.
All right. Bila Baba ki jai. Thank you so much. Great to see you, sir. Pakistan claim Air Force has advantage with JF-17. Oh, the junk fighter 17 blunder, huh? Okay.
It's and they're now talking of JF-35 already. I mean J-35. They say 40 aircraft will buy. China said we will give you, etc. I don't think they have any advantage with the J-17 whatsoever.
Sir, J-35 I mean, it's like buying a shell of an aircraft. does Pakistan have the 5th generation ecosystem?
Yeah.
I mean, it's like you buy a Ferrari, petrol डालने के पैसे नहीं है उसके अंदर. I mean, what's the point of doing that? Just Agastya ji, thank you so much. Privatization is important. HAL work ethics is back. True. Thank you.
See, there, what happens is, HAL means we cannot brand, and it's like branding a nation, branding a community, branding something, etc. HAL, it's not that you join HAL, you become bad. The thing is, there were people, we were moving very fast in technology. Yeah, Adi, I'll tell you, our demography is very different. Now now the progress has taken place. When we joined Air Force, still I'm talking of 84, there were villages in India where there was no electricity here. Okay, now you see what is exposure of technology to people who are growing there. Okay, now they come and they are working on aircraft. Okay, their level is very different. There is a carpenter who's trained in a very good institution, and a guy who comes from a different place. So it is work ethics. I think ethically no one is bad. It is the exposure, it is the culture, or that what is available to you at that moment. I mean, you visit we miss technology revolution. I mean, that industrial revolution, what we call. You go to some. I mean, 2013 to 16, I was in London. You visit their stores. It's a pleasure to hold their hammer. You feel like working with those tools. Those drills, those things. They're so swanky that people work themselves. Here, most of our carpenters, when you come, they don't have the proper tools. अभी भी हथौड़े को लेके वो ईंट पे पीछे मार के उसको ऐसे ऐसे ठोकते रहेंगे. So now when the technology is changing, HAL is also changing, and the case in point is like Rafale, which Daso refused to make the aircraft there, is now offering to make it there. So I think that should be a good change.
Yeah. All right, sir. Next, Gaboji, thank you so much. Sirji, is it okay to be public about issues of our Air Force is facing when too often we have noodles in Pakistan finding an excuse to hate us, or is it a decoy tactics to deceive our enemies? We need a serious update and fast. Jai Hind.
No, it is not a public issue. What are we talking? You were just talking, not like we are not bringing out something like you said. Everything is in public domain. There is not a word here and there that we speak or people speak which is not in public domain. So it is, everyone knows about it. There is no point hiding it. Let's look at the United States Air Force. Yeah, so much of it comes out. People talk of inadequacies very openly. I think they are using that to get more budgets for their defense. कि भाई हम मर गए. I think in between they were crying कि भी उनको hypersonics के लिए budget मिल जाए, उनको इसके लिए मिल जाए, उसके लिए मिल जाए. वो that is another extreme. But I think you are required to be truthful. No, it's not that. See, does my capability change if I say that no, I am very good, or I say I am very bad? My capability is what my capability is, and tactically and operationally I keep myself safe from the likely threats, and I cater for that. Then it doesn't matter whatever I say. Then I'm ready to fight and safeguard my assets or my country. That is good enough. That is always being worked upon. Apart from that, improvement, building in capability. I mean, how exactly will you improve and build unless you say that something is wrong? No, I mean, how not wrong. I mean, something is required more or required for future. We are all talking of future. I mean, if we are talking of MCA 5th generation, it's not coming tomorrow. Yeah, we are talking of 10 years time frame. And if we don't even talk of that, then I think we will be left behind.
Correct. Srinivasji, thank you so much. You say, Pranam Bediji, we have the culture of incentives, promote fire, of all the same advice will go to the government deaf ears. Who will bell the cat? I think the belling of the cat is happening, right?
Yeah.
If I may just put that across, that the cat has been belled. Okay, it's just now supposed to start ringing a little bit. Am I right or wrong, sir?
Yeah. No, absolutely. Culture of incentives means depends. Culture of incentives. It depends from person to person how one takes it. I mean, there is one person who gets motivated You give him incentive, he gets motivated, he works more. There may be another person then who stops working unless you give him incentive. That incentive becomes a baseline. Then he says, then more incentive. But there are professional strategies to overcome that. So there is nothing to worry about.
Yeah. Bilaji, once again, thank you, sir. Impact of Pakistan honey trap spy on Indian soldier scientists.
Oh,
This will continue.
this will continue, and I have many examples of that. This is a different subject altogether, and it is a continuous, and we educate our people. It has
Yeah.
been going on, and now with social media, our youngsters fall prey. We keep educating them. And there are many stories. One can make one very interesting book on these stories only. That what all happens. People have made movies. Okay, but it is a serious issue, and it is
Yeah.
worse than what happens is like, for example, your money is your money. People fall prey to UPI traps. As simple as that. Correct. So there is nothing different. There you are losing money, here you are losing information. And
Yeah.
so that honey trap means someone hoodwinks you in believing something beyond what you are, okay, or what you deserve. I must know what I deserve. Today, someone tells me, there is 10 crore rupees coming in your bank. Please give me this OTP and blah blah blah. Then I should know, yeah, who exactly is going to give me 10 crores. And
Yeah.
similarly, if I'm just now putting it in context. Some 20-25 years old girl says that, oh, there's. I must know that why would it happen? Or not only me, anyone for that matter. So, moment you think that you accept beyond your capability or beyond your what you think you should deserve, then that is what trap is. That's a classical definition of trap.
Yeah. Yeah. Rajat, thank you so much. So, why does Air Force use 4 to 5 types of aircraft? Why can't we settle for 1 or 2? USA, Europe, Japan all use max 2 types. Aren't we complicating
Yeah.
our operations? You've spoken
No,
about
no,
this. Anything you'd like to add?
we spoke about it, but we again don't have a choice. You see, what happens is it's a consideration. We can use 1 or 2 types of aircraft if they were homegrown. I even went to the other extent. We can use 5, 6. We can use only 1. We can use only 1 to 2, provided we are making it at home. Now, if I have to depend only on one country, that will be putting all eggs in one basket, for example. Okay,
True.
then you don't have any flexibility. That what roles are different. Again, if let's say my role is deep strike role, there is an air dominance role, there is a close air support role. Okay, there is some other hill fighting role. There is some. So now you can't have all, let's say, 5 generations aircraft packed up even to do small job. So means at a home, one would need to probably not buy, let's say if I need more than one transport, then it will make sense to have 2 cars, 1 motorbike and 2 cycles and things like that. Otherwise, even to fetch milk from neighbor shop, you'll have to start your car and go. No. So what happens is the different types, to an extent, even that is sometimes required. But if you're talking of countries, that why we are with more than one country, then probably that is also kind of
It's hedging your
necessary.
bets, sir. Simple as that.
Yeah.
Dark Knight, thank you so much. Pranam, sir. Why doesn't the Air Force have its own design bureau like the Indian Navy? We needed it like it in the 1950s. Like we always import, never serious about indigenous R&D. That's the case with our whole country.
We have ADB now,
Now.
Army Design Bureau, and even Air Force ka design. This bureau is there. We have established one, and it is led by an Air Vice Marshal, and then we are slowly building it up. So we are thinking on that lines.
MPC Saab, thank you so much. He says, sir, does this S400 have a software update to link to Russia? Is that the worry that the USA F35 signature can be shared? Can we have full TOT and assure them?
1 second. What does it mean as a?
Is there a software backing?
Okay. No, I can't really say that. Yeah, sitting here, that what kind of, but I don't think so. That we would accept something like that, because it's not only F-35. Our own whole lot of data we are using it. We can't afford that to be backlinked anywhere. So I don't know. I mean, it's a very typical question that I don't think we can answer it here.
Yeah. Rajat ji, thank you. Is in the Su-57. And by the way, before I get into this, please understand this. I want to say this very respectfully. Even if one person understands my message, I'll be grateful. Please stop reading about aviation on Twitter. Okay, do your own research, because half of the Twitter people don't know what they're talking about. Everybody's made judgments कि F35 जब तक डोनाल्ड ट्रंप बैठ के अपने राइट हैंड साइड का सीट वाला पॉकेट खोल के उसके अंदर 3 बटन में से पहला वाला बटन दबाएगा नहीं तो इंडिया वाला F35 स्टार्ट नहीं होगा. That is the kind of conclusions I've seen people reaching. So hang on, nobody is that big a fool. And if you think your Air Force, Army and Navy is a fool, recommend joining, please. So you can be a part of that plan and change it from the inside, because it's really insane the kind of stuff that you read. Do some individual research. This stuff is available on the internet. Aapko milega, but trust you me, nobody will openly talk about this. Rajat ji, thank you so much. Isn't the Su-57 same program we pulled out of? Navy is on Rafale. Why not? Why was it not done with the Air Force deal? They're two different aircraft, sir. Maybe we have got a better deal.
No, yeah, but they started developing Su-57 with our FGFA program. That future generation fighter aircraft, when Indian Air Force started, they started with that, but then he's right, Indian Air Force pulled out of it. Okay. For some reason, because we went on a different track, but they went ahead and developed Su-57 anyway. But again, I mean, not many aircraft have been built, about 42 total, I think. Okay. Now Rafale, as far as Indian Navy went, I think versions are different. No, the requirements are different. So it is probably naval version, they call it. So even LCA, I mean, there is an Air Force and there is a naval version. So I don't think it's just for that.
Sidji, thank you so much. He says a combination of S400 and the Voronezh data fusion and strong hypersonic launch capability can be a stopgap arrangement. Your take, Marshal, sir, please.
No, it's not a stopgap arrangement. It is a very potent arrangement. If you have a hypersonic capability, which is a little far away, and you will get to know if you read my book. Okay, so all this combination is a very good. In fact, interestingly, I mean, since he's talking of only missiles here, just imagine when America was going on with their programs, NGAD, NGAD or whatever you call it, New Generation Air Dominance Fighter, and they are F-35 itne bana rahe hain. And Elon Musk was criticizing manned aircraft. Just because he has made Tesla, probably. He said, why are you making F-35 as a bogus aircraft or something? All manned aircraft, he said, they don't have a future. And, only unmanned systems have the future. And now he's, God help them, because he's in charge of DOGE. Let's see, we have to watch which way the America goes. I mean, it goes manned way or unmanned way. Okay, so these requirements, like, I'm talking of the that general, that Twitter, information and things like that. They are. I'm sure when he said it, he didn't have any technical background or something. He just said it because he's in love with unmanned platform.
Yeah, it's just so much noise on Twitter, especially, and people start fighting. And I wonder, why are you fighting? Have a conversation. I mean, lado mat, koi baat nahi. It's okay. This is the problem. If you fight, the problem is not going to get solved. But that's what actually happens. MPC job, once again, thank you, sir. Can we do drone blimps for long endurance air patrol during Pak-Bangla borders and coastal patrols? Network fleet of them will be amazing. We're using drones for that.
Yeah, there are ISR mission drones. I mean, the very fact we are buying 31 Reapers, they will probably do something similar job only. But only thing is that they are good for surveillance. In during peacetime, in contested airspace, in when active war scenario, then their survivability becomes a little bit of issue. Not that they are totally unwarranted, but surveillance, yes, that is their basic and network. When we are talking of swarm technology, or we are talking of the networked, I don't know what is exactly when they're all networked, because whatever they see, whatever they pick up is all being conveyed somewhere. It's being downloaded. Someone is being guided There are fighter aircrafts being guided by drones. There are bombs being guided by drones. There are so much happening. So they're all networked.
Yeah. All right, Dark Knight. Thank you, sir. Back in an article, Ross Boron, export chief, said Park FA and FGFA are different places, even if the airframe may look the same. Was he
So
right?
it started with FGFA, and so I mean it started from I think it was influenced by Park FA design. Let's call it. They may be different. Yeah.
Hmm.
So it's in a way, I mean, they will be different, but it started, I think it was based on that technology, on that kind of airframe.
So, Rahul ji, thank you so much. Seeing you after a while. Can G414 engine be increased to 110 kn? I don't know.
I mean, now you see, for example, with different fuel, different technology, they can do anything. For example, AL41 engine, empowering
Hmm. 30s now.
Su57. Okay, AL41 engine. Now it produces about 140, 145 kilonewton thrust. Now they are coming up with some ZL30,
Yeah.
additive or technology, planning to increase the thrust to 198 in reheat configuration.
Yeah.
That's quite a bit of jump. So with advancements in technology, is it possible? I'm sure engineers will know this.
Yeah.
You make it possible if it is required. I mean, it has to fit in the aircraft it is meant for. That aircraft requires so much of thrust. Can it sustain that thrust? And what does it take to increase the thrust? What effect on thrust to weight ratio has it? Etc. etc. So all this will be weighed probably.
Yeah. Yeah. Dark Knight, once again, thank you. Can we dream of flying a Desi fighter with our own engines in the next 5 years? Can GTRE pull it off and develop a manufacturing tech capability to build the engine
I
locally?
mean, let's hope so. They are futuristic questions. I mean, I don't think anyone in this country can answer this question in yes or no. All we can do is we hope so it happens.
Yeah.
And we are all waiting for that.
Himanshuji, thank you for becoming a member. Mr. 055 Saab, thank you so much. He says, any ISRO Indian Air Force collaboration in the works?
Yeah. In space, definitely. We are. You guys must have heard of SBS3 program. It's a space-based surveillance 3 program, where a number of satellites are being launched. So ISRO is launching, and they are being launched for the Indian Air Force.
Sir.
So there is a massive collaboration.
Sorry, KTT9, thank you so much. Are we in process of buying F35s from USA? Let me make that point very clear. It is an offer from Donald Trump that he's made since 2016. He's made it 3 times since then. There is no even a request for proposal or even a proposal come from their side. So that's the situation of the F35 right now. There's nothing. Correct me if I'm wrong, sir.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
All right, Srinivasi, thank you so much. One gets the impression that public and government view that the Air Force doesn't get the same attention as the Army. Why does the Air Force not given the required importance?
No.
It feels so, right?
It's very
It feels
much.
so because the procurement time is that much longer, right? A gun comes so
Yeah.
fast, a tank comes so fast, but Air Force सारा 6 साल लगते हैं आते हुए.
No. It is, and I think Air Force budget must be very huge here as far as the equipment is concerned.
It's a capital-intensive force.
Capital intensive, and it's absolutely, now there is no question of saying army, etc. We have an integrated defense staff, you see. So there is all three services are equally kind of represented as per the share. So all the decisions are taken, quite in an integrated manner, and Air Force has been having its good share. I mean, there's no doubt denying that.
Amit ji, thank you so much for being the Superman for the show, sir. Gifting 5 memberships to our audience. Gaurav Sharma ji, thank you, sir. Does India need a state-of-the-art bomber like Tu-160 Lancer, or the name of your book is
to answer the second question first. It's India, India in pursuit of hypersonic flight. Where I've tried to say that, I mean, all this is discussed there. Yeah, that what is the modern scenario going to be? What can hypersonic missile do? Then does India need it? Then if it needs it, why does it need it? When should it have it? Etc. etc. So the title is India in pursuit of hypersonic flight. और उसमें not only missiles की बात की है, aircraft की बात की है, passenger aircraft की भी बात की है. That how will there be passenger, and the first part. Sorry, missed that talking about the book.
One
Uh,
second. It is. Do we need the bomber?
Oh yeah. So I think it was one thought once in while that if the fighter aircrafts are taking very long and we multi-role aircraft etc., then probably this TU class bomber could do. But I don't think we are. I mean, in Air Force, I've never heard anyone talking about it because it will be too much to maintain and go with.
Kunal sir says, what exactly is the issue with the Kaveri? Heard Godrej Aerospace is working on it. If so, will it be used for a fighter aircraft engine or just unmanned drones?
No. It is being developed for. I mean, drones though we came because it is developing certain amount of thrust, so which cannot be used in fighters. So we say, okay, dry power, why not use it? That much thrust, whatever available, and drones may not need that kind of thrust. But it is definitely for fighters, and it is going to be used. So I don't know what kind of private partnership if they have inked or something, but currently. If it happens at any stage, you see now infusion of private technologies is different. The let me just spend a minute. Why we talked why private partnership? People keep talking public private, because if there is a private partnership or whatever is the mula, the I think decision taking is much faster in a private way, because it's that money is of those many shareholders and not public money as such. यहाँ पे 1 रुपया खर्च करने के लिए the amount of trouble you have to go through, trouble I calling it trouble because there is a process and in a right way. So that is how corruptions come forward. Otherwise, how will you get to know that someone is corrupt if there were no procedures? And it is a given that someone who doesn't follow procedures is probably taking shortcut and probably with a different motive. Okay, but whereas that is not the case in private, because in a private firm you're being monitored like a hawk. No one, it's someone's personal money and they will not allow the misuse of it. But at the same time, decision making will be much faster. For example, if I was running a fleet privately and you need a spare or something, and I know that some aircraft is flying somewhere, it's just a phone call away, right? But to do the same thing in a public undertaking probably takes much longer. And that finance ministry is controlling everything. The money only comes from one source, which is supplying to so many other places, etc., etc. So that is where public-private partnership, not only economy point of view, but even from decision-making point of view, probably is much better.
Indeed, sir. Last two questions, sir. Naveen Saab says, can you also cover the reputational impact of on the IAF as a result of these developments, both domestic or internationally? May I twist this a little bit? I think it a lot of people, I perceive it like that we've been sleeping all this while, and I think we've woken up. So I think the perception is a bit more aggressive than the docile perception that we used to push across before. My opinion,
It's
sir?
a honest, no. It is reputational impact, yes, but for the positive. I mean, for good. Here is, let's say, everybody knows what you are, and you're not even talking about it, and telling, no, everything is good, all is well, etc. So that is bad reputation, I guess, because the other person feels that, yeah, you either you don't know that what is the problem, or you are not happy talking about it. But now, I think it is good. We are a professional Air Force. We are proud of what we have, and we have no qualms about saying what we don't. And we are working towards it. We have not given up tool. We are not running away anywhere. We are there, but we are trying to improve. So I think the reputational impact is for good, for the better.
Sir, bring HAL under the PMO and ISRO, like the Department of ISRO and Atomic Energy. I agree with that.
I think, yeah, but de facto, I mean, de facto in some way or the other, everything is under PMO, yeah, in some way
नहीं
or
वो
the other.
उनके डैशबोर्ड में घुस जाता है ना, तो फिर ये लोग बदतमीजियां नहीं कर सकते,
Yeah.
सर.
Yeah. No, that is true. But you see, what happens is now, you're right. It may work for a while, but then can we afford to make everything so centralized?
Yeah. I mean, poor thing. Can you imagine the
Then
PMO has to sit down and go through
sit down
1,000
and
things every
decide
week?
on that. I mean, then
Yeah.
everybody is sitting tight. Then we don't need so many people in between, no?
Yeah.
So it has to be decentralized decision making, because there are qualified people, but it is just, yes, the directions have to come from there, which are there from which are coming from there anyway, and in some way things are being monitored. There is no doubt about it.
And KTT9, why can't we make aircraft like F-35 in India? I don't.
Yeah.
Air Marshal Saab will be very polite in not saying it, but I'm going to say it because we were sleeping for 70 years. ठीक है, हम सोए हुए थे और जो बनाए हमने, we could not take care of our scientists because they were killed. We could not take care of our designs because they were stolen. We could not take care of our ecosystem because it was ruined. And then we slept for another 30 years after that. That's exactly the story of development of our aircraft in India. Now that we've woken up, so let's not look at the past, let's look at the future. I know sir won't say much, but that is the reality. Sirji, thank you
Yeah.
so much
Thank you,
for the
Adi.
time. It's always a pleasure talking to you. I think today has been a learning lesson for all of us, and I think it's not because it's happened on my platform, a very pragmatic discussion, and that's something which is required today.
Thank
Always
you.
a
It's
pleasure having
always, very stimulating having discussion on your platform. And I always learn a lot,
सर
after I
किताब
finish
का
a
लिंक भेज
session.
देना, फिर मैं चैनल पे डाल दूंगा.
Yes,
आई
of
एम
course.
श्योर पीपल विल बी,
I will do
इंक्लूडिंग
that.
माई सेल्फ, विल बी ईगर टू you know read it and enjoy it.
I will do that. Thank you so
Thank you,
much.
sir.
Thank you,
Jai
Adi.
Hind.
Thank you. Jai Hind.